So the resolution to the shaila that Arich has a dikna because Arich is blikvul, relatively speaking, and to be nimshach and atzilus, it could only be through a radical tzimtzum, namely Cyrus. And here we're saying by saying misham avayel ikenu, by saying avayel ikenu misham yod chazak v'zoyin nituya. The misham is Arich. The yod chazak v'zoyin nituya is the gili of Arich, and where is it? It's nislabish and revealed in Havaya Lekeinu Chachma Bina, which is Atzilus, not Cyrus. So how do we reconcile the two? So the answer is that there's two kinds of ashpa pnimis and ashpa chitzonius. The ashpa pnimis that requires Cyrus. The ashpa chitzonius doesn't. So chitzonius Arich is nimshech bepnimis. That's what's nislabish in Chachma Bina. In the words of the Maimer, Nehi, in the parallel, that's the parallel in Atzilus. The parallel is also, you said, in Amshacha of, just to finish the thought. So the Chitzonius of Arich is Nimshach, in the way of Levush, Avaya Lekin, and that's what the pasuk is talking about. Whereas, rather not the pasuk, the Avodim Hayinu. Whereas, the union of Cyrus that the Zohar says that Arich Eshla Dikna is talking about Pnimis Arich. He says the same parallel also applies that Zoh has a Dikna, Lagabe Bia, that depends. If that's the Pnimis of Zoh Nimshach, it's through Dikna. But if the Chitzonius of Zoh, which is the Lamed Kelim, the Zoh, we explained yesterday what that means, which become the Pnimis, Never Shoch Neshama Bia, so that does not require Cyrus, because that's the Chitzonius, we explained that yesterday, and that is Nimshach in the way of Levush. Now, we're up to the middle of no, that's the we finished the ois, yes, or we didn't? I think we did not, so let's finish it now. So, Hayinu, just quickly, Hayinu, the middle of the ois, the same parallel, Malchus and Atzilus. Sorry, Malchus and Bia. Nigam Amshachim is all Atzilus, the Bia, Shemizbar Liel, Shu, and Yidei Sidus, that's Zoh Yesh Ladikna, Shazel Shazoh Yesh Lezakit. So even there too, Yesh Oid Oifen, not even, also, Yesh Oid Oifen Ashpa, Shenem Derech Sidus, is also Ashpa, which is not through Dikna, not through the Sidus, and that is, Shari Yedua, Shalamet Kelim, the Zun, Nasim, Naram, the Bia, the Lamed Kelim, which we explained at the 10 Kelim and all of their levels, inner, outer, and Pnimius, around the middle, Pnimius, and Epitzois, and Chitzonius, and that's the Spheres, which is Lamed Kelim, that's what that means. And that's of Zon, which means to say, Zon Malchus, the external levels of the spheres invested in Zon and Malchus, which we explained yesterday means the Koyach HaGvul, which it bears in common with Bria. So that becomes Nasim Naran the Bia. So the Ein Ze B'derech Side, that's Takanah B'derech Side. And the Hid Zon, the external levels of Zon, not the Pnimius again. This is again pointing to the Kalim, relatively speaking. The He is Kalim Legabe Chagas. Nasi Moichin and Nukva, that becomes the Pnimius, the Moichin of Malchus, Mishom Nimshach Achakach B'Biyah, in the way of Halbash. It's only Nehi, V'gam B'chinas Nehi Gufin, and B'mshachose B'Biyah, Rak B'derech Is Noisetzus. We're talking external levels and sparkling. L'chein Ein Tzorich. It's not a question. Because it's only the Nehi, therefore, L'chein Ein Tzorich Lis B'chinas Cyrus, therefore there's no use for Cyrus. On the other hand, we say Shazor Yesh Lezokin. Sham Shacha Hi B'chinas Cyrus, there is some Shacha from Zor that goes through Cyrus, meaning a radical tzimtzum. So that's Arizeh Rak B'Pnimius, B'chinas Pnimius. That's when we're talking Shacha Pnimius. Concluding the point. So just like Namshach of Zat B'Yah, Kin B'Amshach Mi'arech Latzilus, that there's two Ifanim. Shemasha Kosev Sh'arech Leshlei Zoken, that's what the Zohar says, that Arech has a Zoken, means in its relationship to that which is below it. Sham Shoche, Hi B'Bchinas Sidus, Harizerak B'Bchinas Pnimius Arech. Hashenki B'Bchinas Hazroi is the Arech, so that Zrois, which is the external level, not Meichin, already Chesed and Gevura, so that is B'derech Hislapshus. So it comes out, so what level are we connecting to? That's the level of Chitzonius Arich, that's where Dafke, where Paragod is Yenike, and that is now Nimshech and the Pnimius. But it doesn't end there. Hey, we're clear? Yeah, Biur, Mashakos, Mesidari is Lasha, Yitzim, Mitzrayim, Hayisi Ayidei, Shavo, it's Chachman Bina. He'll be sure the Zerois, the Arich, that Arich is Nimshech and the way of Lavush, which is Giloi. So that beer is as follows. So explained before that which the level of Arich, which is why the time of Yitzias Mitzrayim, the party was betoikev, is because he's oimed, lodged as it were in the earth of Atik, where Chashecha Ka'ir, and therefore there's Yinik Lulumazeh. So that has a Harizerach B'Bchinas Chitzonius Amakiv. But that's only the Chitzonius Amakiv. The Pnimius Amakiv is Dafke what in Kedush. Mashenke B'Chinas Pnimius Amakiv, there's no Yinik. The movement Mashakos of the Moshel is the Shema Misbi Yadayim Titofes. V'hi B'Ichlim Melechtim, so that the spider is tolerated. If it's in the hand, it won't be tolerated, but in the if it's at hand, it won't be tolerated. But if it's in the palace of the king, it is. It's not the pshat that is a reflection of the pnimius harotzon of the melech. It's just not regarded. It's ignored. It's not the pshat that the king is mashpia and to the spider with his will and desire. It's being the opposite of hashpa. It's ignored because of the exaltedness of the king. And in Nation Lev Lagash, she doesn't pay attention to drive her out. Showing in Chitzonius Levad, which means the relationship between the Shmomis and the Melech is Mitzchitzonius. He's not paying attention. Another Moshe. The Melech that makes his Suda L'Sad of Avodah for his servants. Vasherayim Yasud, and the leftover from the meal, in brackets, Insad Eitzim, Gdulas, Mailes HaMelech, because of the greatness of the king, and Agam Shirayim and Mashiris. Even the Shirayim are tremendously wealthy, as with great wealth, even the leftover. So what happens is Ishpaim, it ends up even to his enemies. It goes to the prisoners. The king instructs that there should be a Suda. Who's it for? It's for his Sodim and Avodim, his princes, his ministers, and his servants. So that's not what his Pnimius Harotzon is. It's just because of the great abundance. So they're not going to throw it out. They're going to give it and feed it to the prisoners. So the Moishe ben Nimshal Shemitzad in the Nimshal Shemitzad Pnimius Amakiv Ein Laminika Klal. So the Pnimius Harotzon is revealed. So the Eibush's kavan is he wants Mordechai, not Haman. He wants Torah mitzvahs. He wants to do it, but him through a yid lamate through Torah mitzvahs. So there's no unique at all for Klip. Chol Yinikosem Ein El B'Chinas Chitzonius Arich. The unique is only because of Chitzonius Arich. So, which begs obviously the question. So reveal your pnimius, and there's no unique. Who needs the chitzonius of Arich? That says that is critical in order to be pchire, in order there should be the inyan of the shmamis, and there should be all the inyanim of klipa, and then a yid through his avodah should be mamshich. The pnimius hakavon in every level of his talshus. Now it goes on to say now as follows. Therefore, hine kashechitzonius arich nivishach b'pchinas pnimius. That's the chiddush. The pnimius is behelim and not nizgalim. It can't be. The only way the pnimius can be nizgal is through sidus, which is the mirror's glimmer. That's what the kavan of dir b'tachtoinim. The kavan is the etzem bin nizgale b'chol teikvei. The home is where the etzem is revealed. But the etzem cannot be revealed. The pnimius cannot be revealed. Because the pnimius of Elikus is fundamentally kedusha and totally beyond creation. As in the word kedusha, which means removed. So what can be revealed from the Pnimius? Only B'derech Sidus. So how do we draw the Pnimius? Is dafka through the Chitzonius Haros. Vinikash Chitzonius Arech Nimshach B'Pchinis Pnimius. So when the level of Chitzonius, which Bemis could be, it could go either way. It could also be drawn B'derech Pnimius. Right? Both get Yenika. But when that's drawn in the Pnimius, meaning to say, it means to say that the level of Chitzonius Adich is this Gala through our Avodah, that it's not Klippa, and all of Elikos is only Mitzad, the whole Kavanah, it's all a stage. It's only in order to create, in order that there should be Bechira. But the Kavanah is the, I'm going to finish. Let me finish the idea.
Finish.
It's all Mitzad, it's all to set a stage in order that there should be Bechira. So then, when the Chitzonius of Adich, we'll spell it out in a moment further, is Nimshach B'chinis Pnimius, Shezeri the Avo Hilbishul is raised the Adich, Shehu Inyan Amshach Me'amakiv the Pnimius. So when the Chitzonius is Nimshach, which is what the idea, how the Israel explained Avodim Hayinu, that the Zroyis of Adich are Nimshach, where in Kedusha, big Chidush now, how is it Magia Gam B'chinis Pnimius Amakiv. Via the Chitzonius of Makiv, so that draws the Pnimius. Like Yedezen is battling Nikosam Gam B'chitzonius of Makiv, and that precludes the Unik of Klippa. That's the breaking of Paroi, who was till now was nourished from the Chitzonius of Makiv. Okay, so the technical geographical statement here is, or I don't know if it's geographical. Now we're talking the physics. The technical physics of the matter is that when we are mamshich the chitzonius in the pnimius, which is from where that, from whence Pari got his yindika. So in mamshich also we draw on the pnimius hamakiv, because now just to speak in the most simplest of terms, it's one darge, both from clearly one darge. So if we access the chitzonius, we're also accessing. This is technical. The pnimius, if accessing the pnimius hakavon is not para, is dafke kedusha. That's the end of para, and that's the beginning of redemption, and that's the beginning of the whole process of the realization of the whole kavanas over here. Now, what does it mean? He's going to spell it out. Navida in
1 second. One question. So, what is the difference between regular hilbishu zroyes and when the kavana is? So, what's the difference between when there's no kavana and when there is a kavana, and when we get rid of, let's say, when is it that the shmamis in the example makes a difference, and when is it that it doesn't make a difference?
Yeah. Okay.
You're saying that the same thing's happening. The same thing's happening. Why should anything change?
No. So what we're missing something is this: the ilbishu itself is an avodah. To be malbish, that's an avodah. That's not a given. It's not a given. What is a given is that mitzat chitzonius adich, everybody gets the indika. Klippa gets the indika, and as kedusha can, and Pari had the upper hand. But when
and Klippa gets more because it's chitzonius.
Adira, because no cheshbon.
Yeah.
There's no cheshbon, so it gets more. A kedusha long term cannot run on makif. So the natural state is pre-avodah. Let's spell this out. It means a person is an inspiring environment. So he's inspired. Now the environment is inspiring him. It's a matzah of kedusha, but it's in a way of makif. That's not halbasha yet. That is not halbasha. The next stage is, we'll clarify your question. The next stage is that after he doesn't stop there. If he stops there, it doesn't last, as he says, the kedusha can endure with makif alone. But it is a starting point, inspiration. When he takes that inspiration that he got, Fabrengen, whatever is the environment, and so on, and he takes that into a pnimius, so on the one hand, all he's doing is internalizing the makivdik experience that he has. However, since he's embarked upon the Avodah Pnimius, he does not only internalize that experience that started the whole process, but he says, aha, that's what I want. I want a relationship with you. And so therefore, even though what you're internalizing right now is only the experience that was outside of you, we came to this place and somebody else is inspiring you. It's not you. Not your dogged work, you just showed up. But it was an inspirational experience. And then you're endeavoring to take this and personalize it. Says the Eibishter, that's the Kavanah Pnimius, that's exactly what I want. And in so doing, you draw the Kavanah Pnimius in his Avodah to internalize the external. He then connects to a deeper level of Alikus that's higher even in the inspiration that started the whole process. The Kavanah, in simple language, God has nachas from him, and he draws on the Pnimius Kavanah, which is, I want a relationship with you, and that draws the Pnimius of Alikus. The Eibishter himself. Till now, he was connecting to something external, contrived by somebody else. Kedusha. Again, so Fabrengen, there's someone else that's doing this. And we're listening and being inspired, which is the way it should be. But then we have to take that inspiration and internalize it. And internalizing that inspiration, that opens us up, and that is mamshich, the kavanah pnimis of Alikus, which is what God desires, a relationship with us.
What's changing? He's going to the Farbrengen.
Because if he doesn't begin the process of internalizing it and just rides on the inspiration, then he's like Parah. Parah gets his chayes and you got chayes. And as I said before, and that's not going to last. It's not going to last. Because Kedusha, by definition, it means pnimis in a relationship with God. And being inspired by being lifted by an inspiration that's produced outside of self, not through one's own effort, is temporary.
So are you saying basically the Farbrengen is an idea? It's the Farbrengen is like a person makes a decision to become a Baal Tshuva, like you said in the previous Maamorim, and
or he could, or could
after,
not.
And saying he does. However,
even if he doesn't,
he actually follows through his Avodah Pnimius.
Yeah,
and the experience going to the Farbrengen is beautiful, but it's like a guy deciding to become a Baal Tshuva, and he doesn't do anything. It's the next day, and it's the next moment, and then he follows through. That's the Avodah Pnimius. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but even being at the Farbrengen and being inspired and making no decisions, it's also the Makivdik experience. It was wonderful.
On the contrary, at a Farbrengen, unfortunately, let's say, there could be the Chinese can leech on.
Oh, we're not talking that. I'm not talking about the corruption. Yeah, that's also true. There's Parah can be Parah can sit there and get chayis as well. But we're saying not even that even in Kedusha, he's there and he's inspired. That's where it ends. That's all. It was a beautiful experience. So it's over.
So Hilbishu is only in Kedusha.
There's no halbasha there. It's over, finished. It's temporary. It came and left like Hilbishu means when he takes the inspiration and works with it, and there's real change. You say, become a Baal Tshuva. Let's make one little change in one area of our life. That's already genug. It's already enough.
That's what we're speaking about.
Yeah, one little change. Now, in so doing, he's taking the inspiration, and that's a motivation that he works with and internalizes, and there's real growth on real personal growth. That is mamshich, the pnimius hatayna, the pnimius hakavon of the Eibishter. He's connecting out to the pnimius hakavon, and therefore the pnimius hamakiv is nimshach where in kedusha, and therefore now that the pnimius hamakiv is nimshach in kedusha, there's no room for klippa. There's no room for klippa. And to rephrase that, when the person's avodah still is all chitzonistic driven, then there's room for klippa in yanik and in his avodah. But if the avodah is in a pnimius, then then there's no room for collateral damage. We're going to re-examine this tomorrow. Okay, we revisit tomorrow. It's already 7 o'clock, and Rabbi himself in Ois Vav is going to explain it in Avodim.